Oh, interesting. It's another Friday at the Soul Stripping Spa Show. How has your day been? And of course, your week. It is my pleasure to be hosting you. I know that you're watching me live on YouTube and also all across our Facebook platforms, my personal platform, and the Emotion City platform. So, good evening. My name is Oyin Consola Alabi, as usual. Last week, Friday, yes, that was my name. This Friday, that is my name, and that will be my name. And I work as the emotions doctor and the founder of Emotion City. So, welcome to the Soul Stripping Spa Show. How has your day been, and how has your week been? A lot of things have been happening where I presently live, which is Lagos, Nigeria. Once you can live in Lagos, Nigeria, be rest assured you can live anywhere. And also know that on Judgment Day, Lagos, Nigeria will be considered first. You know why? God needs to get us out of stress as fast as possible. So welcome to the Soul Stripping Spa Show. Good to see you again, Sade. I see that Sade is watching from Kaduna. Welcome, welcome. She says her day has been awesome. So let me know what your day has been like at the Soul Stripping Spa Show. We first of all are interested in what has been going on with you. What has Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and of course Friday been with you? What have you been up to? What are you doing? What is going on with you personally and professionally? Wherever you're watching me from, welcome to the Soul Stripping Spa Show. Please call your friends, call people you're trying to be friends with, call your colleagues, send the link to them. And if you have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button right away. And why should you subscribe? Just because you're good and kind, and then you get our notifications. And of course, we also give our gifts at the Soul Stripping Spa Show to our subscribers, people on our email list. Yes, that is one reason why you should subscribe. So what's up, guys? What's going on? Thank you for sticking and staying with me. My guest is already in the house. She's chilling at the studio. We've been having some good gist, and we'll be talking really, really deep today. And as usual, we call it as it is at the Soul Stripping Spa Show. We're real, we're raw, and of course, we're vulnerable to the level in which we can share. So, talk to me. How has your day been? Welcome, Shadi. Welcome to all the awesome people watching me across board on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere. You know, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for showing up here. And I want to say thank you in advance for hitting the subscribe button. If you haven't, please do so right away. So, what's up? What's going on? Iyano is here. Yippee! I also have some guests who show up from the US and from the UK every Friday. I'm sure they'll be here anytime from now. All the way from, I know Maryland, I know Boston, United Kingdom, where? I can't remember where exactly, but I'm sure they'll be here soon. And of course, my Nigerians and Africans and everywhere. So welcome to the Soul Stripping Spa Show. My guest is here. I have known my guest for 14 years. She's somebody that inspires me personally. You know, sometimes I just sit down and I try to imagine what her world is like and what other people's worlds. You know, I have been at some of her events before. I have shared platforms with her before, you know, and at every point in time, I just sit down, I listen, I say what a prayer. Like, I am just like, wow. There's just a way in which all of us have our pain points, and at the end of the day, these pain points have become purpose for us, and we're trying as much as possible not to restrict ourselves to the story of our life, but to create our life stories. And that is why and what she has been doing. So we're going to be asking her real questions today and about our organization, you know, which is Amputee United, and then her book, ADENIKE. If you don't have the book already, what are you waiting for? Okada Books and a whole lot of other stores, you know, have the book already. ADENIKE is 34, you know, but she has done really, really well for herself and an air personality. She's a lawyer. So if you're looking for trouble, you want to land in jail. If you're looking for her trouble, she can give it to you. She's also an alumna or alumnus of Emotion City. She's an all-rounder, like pretty and everything. So she will be here in a couple of minutes. I also see my good person here. Oh, Adebola Salako. Don't let me share Bola's secrets. Bola, you know that we're supposed to see in our You understand? In that's your sport and in my sport. So let's talk about that. Yeah, so Indianapolis, my guys, see me. Is when you are Yorubasha, the thing will be worrying you. It's like me. I say, see me, Indianapolis, Omobado. And that's not where I'm from. So it's supposed to be called Indianapolis or something. Whatever it's called is in the United States. See how I just say Indianapolis, so you got Tusha, in it. Yeah. So welcome, Omolola. Welcome, Mrs. Akinwumi, for being here. All the good people, welcome. So how has the week been? How has your day been? I will be inviting Adenike in the next 2 minutes because I know that she's going to burn the house down. We have to be real, raw, and you need to support what Adenike is doing at Amputees United. If you haven't Googled it, please check it out. Amputees United, be a part of it. I have been there before where she invited me to, to speak there. Just be a part of it. And I'll tell you why you should always support people. You're not supporting from a position of pity. You are supporting because you are human. When you're human, you have empathy and compassion. So you're not supporting because you pity her or something. Not at all. But because there are other people who are living their lives on another spectrum. And what makes us human is the fact that we can always, and at almost every time, we can ensure that we don't let anybody feel different from us. There's nothing we have done any better or anything. We don't deserve everything that is going on. It is by grace that we're here, and people are enjoying their lives in another way also. So we need to always be a part of what people are doing and always celebrate people and let them know that we're in their corner, and at no point in time should they feel that they are alone in the world. So it's not from a position of pity. If you haven't Googled Amputees United, please do so. If you haven't bought Adenike's book, her books are on okadabooks.com. You can Google it. It is called ADENIKE, and you can always place an order for the book. So I see that my goons are here. So let me introduce who Adenike is, and I will bring her up in just about 90 seconds. I met her 14 years ago at Olabisi Onabanjo University. I think, yes, I remember that some of her friends attended the church that I was pastoring. And I remember that on one or two occasions, I think they had mentioned, bottom line, they invited me to come and see her, and I went to see her. That was 14 years ago. I think she was 20 at that time. That was 14 years ago. And I remember that I met her. And I remember when I was going back home, the only thing at the back of my mind was, Lord, I do not know what you are doing, but whatever that you're doing, have mercy and ensure that she's fine all the rest of her life. Like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't have any scriptures for this. I can't understand. I can't explain it, but I just know that it's a surprise to us, but this did not catch you by surprise. And at every point in time, you have your children's back. So please ensure that you have her back. And that was it. And I think maybe we spoke a couple of times before I left school. Yes, I was her senior, so I thought I should drop that. I'm part of people that should be telling her to stood down, to kneel down. But social media people, you not allow us to punish you on time, punish you. So I'm supposed to be punishing people, since social media has even. But let me just leave that story. So I was a senior, that one more center. So we left school. I think it was 3 years ago. I was scrolling through my phone, and then I saw her name. So even on my phone right now, I saved her as Adenike Miracle. So I remember that when I saw the Adenike Miracle, I was like, yes, there's this particular lady that I've been looking for. And at the time I was looking for her, I did not particularly remember her surname, but I just knew it was Adenike. So that day I went on Google and I typed Adenike there, and it showed me a couple of pictures. And the moment I saw her, I was like, yes, this is the lady I'm looking for. And then I sent her a message saying, oh, my name is Oyinkanso Alabi. I was a pastor in school. Do you know me? And you know what she said? She even needs to stood down the next time I see her. So she just said, who will not know you? Like, of course. As Mali and Lomoike. And I was like, okay, I'm thinking we should reconnect. I have been looking for you, and all of that. And I think we reconnected, about 3 years ago or something. We had lunch, and then we have stuck, together. and she's been a part of Emotion City. She's taking our courses, and yeah, I just like where she is, and I am one of the people rooting and praying for her at every point in time. Because the irony is that I don't know how it feels to be living her life. She also doesn't know how it feels to be living my life, But I am just excited. So I will be bringing Adenike up in 10 seconds, and just hold on. Yeah. So who is ready to see Adenike? Let me just know who is ready. If you're ready to see her, just let me know. I'm just going to unveil her like now, like a piece of cake. You know how they unveil wives? I saw a particular video yesterday where they were saying to the man that you can now kiss your bride. And the guy started speaking in tongues. I don't get it. He spoke in tongues for like 60 seconds. I don't know what the tongue was for. But Bola Salako is here. Maybe Bola can explain it from her marital perspective. They told him you can kiss the bride, and he busted into tongues, and he will try and unveil. He will speak in tongues. He will try. I just say, this life is not balanced. What's going on? So who is ready to see Adenike? I'm going to bring her in some seconds. Who is ready to see her? So I see good people already rooting for you. So let me get my guest. Hey, baby. Adenike in the high in the house. Yeah, so they're rooting, they're screaming. Yeah.
Yay!
They're screaming, they're shouting. Yeah, so Adenike, let me say it again. Adenike was my junior in school, I remember one of my friends. She's not my friend, Tony. So that's one person I also frustrate. Tony would just call me. Will you come? So the day I remember, I just decided to say, oh, Tony, me and you are not age mates now. Like, is it because you're a CEO and I'm a CEO? Is it because you're making money, I'm making money? Like, you should be studying that. That's your first life. Your first life, you're a terrorist. I'm like, Tony, I was your senior now. Okay, so A baby is here. Adenike, so people are rooting for you and all. I've told you Adenike's story in a short. She's saying hello. She's saying hello. So I'm going to ask her her first question.
Okay.
And the first question would be that, so I went on Wikipedia to read up about you. Yeah, I Googled you up. So beyond the fact that I know you, I wanted to know what Google CEOs were saying about you. What they were saying. And my first question would be that I have seen that you have cut out an interesting path and a life for yourself, which is the fact that your story and where you are now, your 14 years journey and all of that. If I'm going to ask in one word, which is, what would you say that your life mission is? And when I say life mission, like, what are you consumed by, or what consumes you, or what do you really live for? Yes.
Okay. What do I live for? I think that what I live for is what is very strongly tied to what I want to be remembered for, and what I'm hoping will be my epitaph when I pass. And I'd always tell people that what I want people to remember about me is she came, it happened, she conquered. And I recently listened to a message by a pastor in the Elevation Church in the US, and he dissected the story of the woman with the issue of blood. And one thing stood out to me in that message, that till date nobody remembers her name. She had, prior to meeting Jesus, been defined by her problem, the woman with the issue of blood. And until she met Jesus, it changed completely, because the first person who affirmed her identity to her was Jesus when they referred to her as daughter. And that has, significantly changed, to a very large extent, my understanding of what I would want to be remembered for when I go. So what consumes me daily is I cringe at injustice. I cringe at injustice on all levels. I see that no matter where I am or what job I'm doing, what hustle, well, what business actually pursuing, when I hear stories about injustice in any and every form, I get infuriated and I carry it on my head. So injustice is something that fuels me in all its various, variants. Injustice from governments to people, injustice from people to people, injustice among friends, injustice even in relationships. So that is one thing that I'm very certain that consumes me. And when I open that further, I see that even my clamoring and advocacy for people living with special needs is also subsumed under injustice. Because
Yeah.
if we were treated equally fairly and were given a lot that, accrued to us as humans in the first instance, there would be no need to advocate. So injustice is something that I am very, very, very much consumed, and probably what fueled my interest in studying law and qualifying as a lawyer, though not a legal practitioner. So yeah, injustice is what pushes me and gives me the power to become a different person. And I'm evolving into a different, journey in my life where gratitude is about it's taking a different dimension into who I'm continually revolving my story around and who I'm daily, you know, becoming. Because gratitude has completely wrecked my world completely. I do not think that I would ever be ungrateful again in my entire life because I have seen what gratitude has done to transform who I am and how I access things through my experiences and through my lenses. Just earlier in the morning when we were talking, I told you that my car had been involved in a car crash this morning, and everybody expected that I'll be upset, forgetting that there's insurance. Let's be honest, because yeah, we get that there's insurance, but sometimes insurance companies and the dealership will haggle until
Yeah.
and then it takes a lot. So that inconvenience is enough to consume you. Because all like me who understands what it means to commute and then have to pay extra for the car hailing. How about I use the 2-day fee for cab hailing to buy fuel in the car? So I didn't even bat an eyelid. All that consumed me and still is consuming me is the fact that though the car was destroyed, though there will be inconveniences, I am utterly and eternally grateful to God. Why? Because no life was lost. And why that is very interesting is also because the person who caused the crash actually saw the extent of the damage and guess what? Ran away from the scene of the incident. And as I speak to you, the only thing we know about it is the make of the car. And only yesterday on social media, there I was clamoring for another person who had also suffered the same plight.
Yeah.
And in my caption, when I put it up, I said, if we continue to remain silent, it can be any one of us the next day. That is injustice as well. But little did I know that a few hours from there, I would also be beating back the same hand that I was fighting for. So gratitude, I then see things completely differently. I analyze it from the perspective of optimism, objectivity, and if anybody wants to agree, those are the things that have fueled our existence, if not in our entire lives, at least in 2020. Because now we see the things that we did not know or understand that we had and should appreciate. We see them now, we appreciate the fact that we have peace of mind, we appreciate the fact that we have clothing, shelter, and food. And these are things that we probably would have been grateful for before, but now we see them in a whole new light, completely and utterly. So injustice fuels me, and I think that gratitude just takes me, to a different um, altitude altogether. So yes, I can talk. Oh, hey, one question. Hey.
Fantastic. I think it was about 7 years ago. My mother still has the rock where I created something called the gratitude rock for people. And then yes, the essence of the gratitude rock is every time you see it, just give some level of thanks and all that. When I paid my mother a visit, I still saw it in her room.
Oh
I don't have
wow.
like I don't have mine.
Wow.
The,
Wow.
the
Wow.
crusader does not have this the the souls that were won. I also remember that time. There was a time I remember you went to the US and you visited a particular, I'm not sure if it's a ministry or an organization, but
Okay.
I remember that you encountered a huge level of transformation. It was a Christian community.
Bethel Church
Yeah.
in Red.
So please tell us about it.
Oh my God. Oh my God. 2017.
Mm,
Wow. So I've been following Bill Johnson and his ministry remotely, and
mhm,
then I've been living vicariously through my mentor who had introduced all of us to the ministry, and then I visited the ministry a number of times. So
mm,
I had put it out on social media saying that, oh my goodness, I'd love to attend the church.
mhm,
Incidentally, at that time, I had a valid US visa.
mm,
And but I didn't see myself dropping 400,000 naira to buy tickets to go.
mhm,
And I will spend another how many thousands, for Airbnb. And I didn't just want to go on a regular Sunday or regular week. I wanted to go when they had a program that I would be interested in.
mhm,
So my friend, that particular post I did on social media, before I knew what was happening, this person, oh, I saw your post. I really feel it, nudging my spirit to drop an offering towards it. And
mm,
believe you me, not in its entirety, but a very large amount of the money for the tickets, I had received in gifts.
mm,
And I was in a place where I had no idea what was coming, you
mhm,
know. And then I went to Bethel, one of the most random travels I've ever done. I traveled with the least clothes I've ever gone with.
mhm,
I was so unconcerned. I just wanted to go. And
mm,
I remember that one experience that shaped me was during break. So there were sessions and they would have breaks. So I was taking a walk and I met two ladies. That environment encourages the prophetic gifting. It encourages miracles. You see miracles happen and had been taken aback,
mhm,
and then I'll message my mentor, oh my God. And there's something he said. He said, miracles cannot exist in atmospheres or places without love. That because there's a lot of love in Bethel, you see
mm,
it happen. There's even a clear difference between what happens in Bethel and what happens in the little city of Reading holistically. And I saw it. So I was
mhm,
taking a walk and then I saw this young lady with maroon colored hair. And
mm,
I'd grown up appreciating people, whoever you are, whatever gender you are, whatever color you are. I see something on you I love, I would compliment you to say, I love your t shirt, I
mm,
love your pair of jeans. So I see her and I said, oh my goodness, I love the color of your hair. And she stopped and she took it all in and she
mm,
said, thank you. And she said, do you want me to explain to you why I chose this color of hair? Because she saw that I was about to sit. I'm like, I
mm,
would love to hear And she starts to talk to me about how she had a dream and how she had an encounter with the Holy Spirit and how significant the color was. And there I was just looking and saying, God, so you
mm,
mean that you're actually interested in things as little as color of hair?
mm,
And as if that was not enough, she then showed me a tattoo she had on her leg where it was an ankle, but the
mm,
ankle was shaped going downwards. And
mhm,
she said what it meant for her is her ankle is in Christ. And yes, I knew that Christians, wore tattoos. Yes, I knew that Christians had piercings. Yes, I knew that Christians had very crazy colored hair. But I had
mhm,
never been in an environment where I saw that number of Christians with these many expressions all at
mm,
the same time. So I'm seeing one person that has tattoos, and every single tattoo on their body has a significant meaning,
mm,
either through revelation or through the word that God spoke to them. The person has colored hair. The person is has a gifting to join.
Mhm.
So I was completely wrecked at the nature of love in that environment. For the first time in my life, I could see love. I
Mm.
saw the color of love. I saw the feel of love. I could feel it. So much
Mm.
so that at a point I had to tell my friend that I think I'm over, they're choking me with their
Mm.
love. And it
Mm.
wasn't a function of the fact that you are an outsider. It was a function of the fact that in the Bethel environment, it is a culture.
Mm.
So because it's a culture, it was very necessary that I had to partake of it. Case in
Mm.
point, I had stayed in an Airbnb and my host was gracious enough to pick me up from the airport. And she said she'd never done it, that she'd been
Mm.
letting the room out for a long time, but she just felt like, hey, and I'd always tell them, and I'm an amputee, in case you need to know, in case there's anything, you have ramps in your house, if there's anything. And she said she offered to pick me up from the airport because she wasn't doing anything at that time. So she
Mm.
dropped me off at the church for my first class. And her question to me before she dropped me off was, how do you get home? And I just turned back and I looked at her. I said, I heard a lot about Bethel. I'm sure I'll make a new friend today. And as
Mm.
soon as she drove off, the very first person that I spoke to is still my friend today, Christina. And
Mm.
Christina picked me up every single day I was in Bethel and dropped me off every single place I wanted to go. And
Mm.
that opened my eyes a whole lot into what really love means. And it wrecked my world completely. And I started to
Mm.
see things differently. So that journey, I experienced so much in May of that year that I made sure I went back in October of that year. And I didn't go back alone this time. I went back with
Mm.
two other friends because I'm like, no,
Mm.
come. I'm like that guy that steals gold on his farmland and goes to invite people. Come, oh, come and see
Mm.
this thing here. And our lives have completely changed forever, all three of us. Completely changed. So
Mhm.
that's just one example of how my journey to Bethel in 2017 changed my world forever.
Mm. Mm. Wow. I feel like going there. So I'm going to Google them up and then keep them on my tab and see what's going on. I would, I know Bill Johnson. I should have over 10 Bill Johnson's books. I really like him. I respect him. So I would just Google their details and see. So I have my US ticket already, so I can just see what is going there and plug in. I also remember the last time, which was last year, you spoke passionately about us Nigerians and human beings paying attention to people who live their life on another spectrum, which is, this set of people, you need to pay attention to them and all of that. And you spoke about it pari passu when you were talking about your book. An awareness for the existence of people or about the existence of people that naturally people call them like people see them in another way, but you are here saying I'm a disability advocate and they need to pay attention to them. It's not from a position of pity, it's from a position of reality. Like this is happening and all of that. So could you kindly talk to us about that? Because I know that you passionately, spoke more about it. Yeah, you spoke more about it. It was like a principal talking to their students. I remember
Mm.
that day, all of us were at dinner before you power changed hands when we gave you the mic. I didn't care. Was like, you people, that day I just sat and said, oh, no, I need like, oh, no, I need like, they will beat us here today. I think I was like, dear Nigerians, I was like, all of you that came to this place today, you hear what? So please talk to us about it. What the awareness you were trying to create that time.
Okay, so I feel like for a lot of people who have been exposed to the world of disability, they find
Mm,
out that they get a different perspective into disability when a near relative now experiences a form of disability. How do I mean? If it's not them directly, brother,
Mhm.
sister, sister-in-law, parent, child, and then we start to notice the things that we never ever noticed.
Mhm.
Prior to my being amputated, and I'm being honest, I had heard about cancer in passing, but I didn't understand what it was. However, I
Mhm.
had never seen an amputee. I had seen people use crutches, but I did not
Mm.
recollect anyone using crutches who had one leg. I
Mm.
couldn't recollect anyone who was permanently on a wheelchair. Though wheelchair seems to be the most easily accessible form of disability that I could first connect to
Mhm.
when I thought about disability. Then I
Mhm.
thought I remembered visual impairment and I remembered Cobham's and Sukwa.
Mm.
And I tried everything I could to get Cobham's number because I wanted the perspective from somebody who was living with special needs, what that reality meant. How be
Mm.
it very obviously our realities are different. His is physical impairment, mine was his is visual impairment, mine was physical impairment. And till date, I do not remember what my conversation with Cobhams was, but I met him
Mm.
again a few years ago and he heard my voice. And then he
Mm.
held my hand and asked me, "What's your name?" And I said, "I didn't hear it." And then he squeezed. He said, "I've been looking for you." I
Mm.
laughed. I completely forgot that I gave Cobhams a call a few years
Mm.
ago. He said, "You called me, I didn't save your number, and it has haunted me for years."
Mm.
I'm like, wow. And whatever it is that he shared with me, I'm very positive were not bad. Because if they were bad, I would have remembered it was harsh, it was this, it was that. But he
Mhm.
must have encouraged me in a certain way because at that point, I also knew a friend who was classmates or colleagues with Cobham's University of Lagos. And she had given me very interesting stories about him because at that point he was dating her very good friend.
Mm.
So that reality was very different to me and for me. So I then decided to sit back and ask myself, what are we not doing to expose ourselves and our children and our immediate environment to
Mhm.
what is not what we are used to, what is extraordinary? Do we tell our children that there are people that are human and are not like us? They don't have melanin, neither are they Caucasian. People
Mm.
who are living with maybe vitiligo, vitiligo, whichever pronunciation you want, or people who have visual impairment, or people
Mm.
who have PCOS, or people who are living with multiple sclerosis, or people who are living with Down syndrome or cerebral palsy. What
Mm.
intentionality are we, instilling in ourselves that is
Mm.
translating to exposing our words to these very many variants so that
Mhm.
when they see somebody with crutches, they are
Mm.
intrigued because they are children, but they are
Mhm.
not startled at the reality. Completely two
Mm.
different things. And as a person who is living with disability, when I see a child who is startled and a child who is intrigued, I
Mm.
always know the difference. Because with the former, the child is just looking like, what's this? What's this? But with one of them, the child is like, oh my God, this is what
Mm.
mommy has been showing me on TV. This is what mommy has been saying. They want to
Mhm.
ask you, they want to touch your crutches. They want to
Mm.
know what does it feel like. They want to attempt to act like they have one leg.
Mm.
And parents and guardians are always, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And I have to be expressive enough to say it's okay, that this
Mm.
is something that you may have exposed them to, or this is a child that is vocal enough to have conversations of this nature. But the African in us wants to shut them down. Why? Because we fail to also teach our children manner of approach. So they just come brag. What happened to your leg? I
Mm.
think that is not how you ask a question to a complete stranger. You introduce
Mhm.
yourself. You say hi. Now this is interesting. I always see it ED, and I must be very honest. A couple that still resonates with me and their children is the Blood Bank family and Kola Tubosu. Kola
Mm.
Tubosu and Temi. I met their two sons last year, and they left an impression in my heart. Why? Because their sons asked me questions that children who have been exposed to the global space would
Mm.
ask. Not children who cower, not children who are shocked, not children who are saying, they'll just be staring and wondering. Ask questions, be vocal. So because of that, I've taken it upon myself to expose people to these realities, and expose them to the realities also means a lot of us who are now adults need to unlearn the things that we know, unlearn
Mm.
how we approach people who are living with disability, unlearn how we approach conversations of disability, unlearn how we, equality. When you talk equality, everybody just thinks that all these feminists, they want the men to not to keep quiet. And you understand that that is not what feminism is about. When we talk equality, it means equality across, but even for persons living with special needs. We're saying
Mm.
that on your board, there are many, people, persons with special needs who are qualified. How many
Mm.
of them do you have on your board? How many of them do you have in your establishment?
Mm.
How many visually you run a tech organization, for instance, and a person living with special needs can function in a lot of capacities in an environment like that, because somehow it just feels like when there is a form of special needs, different other senses start to work and are optimal. They
Mm.
don't talk about it. They don't open, there's no level playing field. You will start be saying that you can't even access the information of vacancies. And when you even do access it, for people who are not fortunate enough, commuting becomes a problem. I met a
Mhm.
young man last year who had not stepped out of his house in almost how many years that he lost his leg. And my
Mm.
heart broke. Why? Because they couldn't afford it. And even when they afforded it, he was so subjugated in his brain that he didn't want to leave the environment he was used to. And that's
Mm.
also a function that all of us will be accountable to when we eventually meet God. What have you
Mhm.
done? Who did you speak to? Did you ask your neighbor to say, do you have any neighbor who has a child with special needs?
Mhm.
Let me meet them. Let me make them connect with other people like them who have gone ahead of them to make the path straighter. These
Mm.
are, and it burns me and it hurts me, especially because I know that a lot of the things that should be done can only be done from the standpoint of policy and government. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, when you see people like us who get opportunities to function and do things, one is either we get carried away by the politicking, two, governments themselves do not give us the available tools that we need to make the policies work in our favor, or three, we just go there and do what? We just go there and eat money. So it just becomes the same old thing again and again and again. So I believe very strongly that until all of us start to be a little conscious and truly, like the Bible says, love our neighbor as we ourselves have internally, deeply, and
Mm.
genuinely loved ourselves, nothing can happen. So I'm hoping for whatever it is worth, because there are a lot more people who are now vocal about living with special needs, not just in Nigeria,
Mhm.
but in different parts of the world, to understand that
Mm.
there is more that we can do, and there is more that the capacities that we have on the inside of ED, people living with special needs, have talents. I
Mm.
watched a show. You need to watch the movie. You're the one that's always recommending movies for us on Netflix. Look for Rising Phoenix on Netflix. I think
Okay.
life does not change. I
Mm.
promise you to pay for your data for that month. It's I'm still up. It's about
Let me write it
Paralympics
somewhere.
and
Rising
Paralympics.
Phoenix.
Rising Phoenix on Netflix. And I'm sure that your son, he's like, oh my God. Watch it. Rising Phoenix, Netflix, watch it. Yeah.
Awesome. So I've written it down, guys. If you're watching streaming, I see people are from Maryland, USA, Indianapolis, or your states everywhere. Thank you so much. Please watch Rising Phoenix. It is on Netflix. I also would like to announce that from next week Friday, Soul Stripping Spa will be holding on Zoom. So please
I thought you
remember
were
it will
going
be.
to say that you were going to be offering us small chops. Especially.
You see, live, you'll be holding on Zoom and the replay will be posted on YouTube. And why is that? Because we want to take it a notch higher and want to be having personal and private conversations. But we'll be playing the replay on, on YouTube. But from next week Friday, so if you're interested, please watch out for the announcement on my wall. There would be an email list, and then we keep sending the link there, and then you can join. So the next question, Adenike has an interesting book titled Adenike, where she shared a whole lot of beautiful, real and raw stuff. So we'll be asking her about the book. Adenike, please, what exactly is the book about? What made you write the book, and what exactly is the book about, and where can we get a copy of the book?
Okay. Where can we get a copy of the book? It's available on Amazon. It's available on Akara Books, Band Books. It's available physical copies, Moving Heights, Latana, CSS Bookstore. Yeah. So, what made me write the book? Well, honestly, I wanted to make money. Secondly, I realized that everybody was asking, it just felt like, yeah, they're asking me what happened, but it just felt like there was a very strong burden. And I just figured that, you know what, just monetize this thing, let's have peace of mind. And I noticed that in our bid to helping people who are, maybe for instance, newly amputated, we do not often know the approach. So it was necessary for me to document my experience. So anybody who has a loved one, it's not a cost. This thing will happen to somebody else. Anyone who has a loved one and has just been told that they have to amputate their leg will say, oh, so there's this book I think you should read. And because what I realize a lot of them do ED is somebody will call me, hey, my friend sent me and said they should do this. It happens to me in a month, and I'm being honest, maybe twice or thrice. I want you to speak to the person. And it is completely and utterly intrusive for a mere stranger like me to pick up my phone and call somebody who's probably still on the hospital bed, who's lost a limb, and say, hi, my name is Adenike. I have one leg. Your cousin told me about you. So I said I should call you to encourage you. I don't know who you are. And what the heck are you doing calling me? Completely intrusive. So I'd always now encourage them to say, you know what, how about you introduce me to this person by giving them my book? Let them decide that they want to meet me. Let them be introduced into my world, whatever sentence I've been able to share in the book, and then we can take it up from there. And my last friend that invited me to the hospital, I told them, and I shall now be charging per hour. So thank you very much. So it was necessary for me to write the book. Why? That's my why. You ask me where, you ask me why, and what. I touched on a few things in the book. I touched on growing up as an only child. I touched on, um, you know, tasting love through different lenses, through my mother's lens and through my father's lens. I touched on friendships and relationships. For people who know me, they know I'm very rich in people. I'm one friend that if you are looking for something, I might not get it all. I might not know somebody, but I'll know somebody that knows somebody. So for everyone who is very close or dear to me, they know that I am to be on their top 5 list of people who are very resourceful. So I touched extensively about the power of friendships and networking and how friends have been my cover for a long time, as I have also been theirs. I touched on relationship with the church and religion, Christianity, mentor, and I touched on my Bethel experience. It was very necessary for me, at least in shaping who I'm becoming. So that was, I think that was necessary. I touched on vulnerability. I was very open about what it means to live with one leg. Because truthfully and honestly, I want my right leg back. There's no two way about it. There's no drama. There's pain. There's purpose in pain. Jesus had a plan. Nah, please, I want my right leg back. It is what it is. And that's because through the years I had romanticized the idea of pain and romanticized the idea of being superhuman, of being the one who can solve everybody's problem, of being this epitome of strength and courage and confidence. And I had to strip myself of all of those titles and really dig into my being to know who it is that I am away from this condition. And until I found who I am, and still finding who I am daily becoming, I see that wearing all of those titles have become easier for me to be open to the extent that on the days where I am tired and I'm weak and say, you know what, I just want to let it out. I am now comfortable in that space. I'm
Mm,
not worried about, but this person has been looking at you as a strong person. Okay? How will they now look at you afterwards? So it is
mm,
something that I have evolved into, and I feel like disability journey has also exposed me to that reality.
mhm,
Um, and unfortunately, family and friends and loved ones also did not know that they were also putting a burden on me. So somebody is driving Adetokunbo Ademola just called me, I just saw this guy that has one hand, Omiso, savior of the world. And we carried, hey, what happened? Who cut his hand? Where? I will not carry it on my head, Idi, I won't sleep. I will not be thinking. I will not meet the person. I will not see that this person that you people have been thinking about, you don't want to be helped. And it's
mm.
not even financial help. It is even
Yeah.
because for me, I don't even give you money. I look to you don't want money. So for me, it's not about the financial help. I would
Mm,
hook you up with people. Oh, you like to do art? Okay, I know a friend who is a painter. I would ask
mm,
the friend. I may offer to pay your transportation fare for a month to see
mhm,
that you learn from this person.
mm,
But I found out that a lot of them are subjugated in their minds, and nobody can break you from that circle until you yourself are tired. So
mhm.
now, if you call me as a friend to say, "Oh, I saw one woman, she had one eye. Hey, is she beautiful? Snap picture of it out, post it on Instagram." Yeah, because if you don't push further, I will tell you that because it's a burden in your heart, it means she's your primary assignment. I am only an addendum. Finish with
Mhm,
her, start the journey, I will join
mhm,
along with you. So yeah.
mm. Interesting. So, does anybody have a question for Adenike before I ask her my final question? Does anyone have it? If you have a question, just drop in the chat room, please.
Drop
Just
it like
drop.
it's hot.
Yes, just drop it in the chat room. Once again, you can follow her on Twitter is Denike Oyetunde. On Instagram is Adenike Oyetunde. You would also see Gratitude Coach. You would see it there. And then her book is Adenike. It's on Amazon. It's on Okada Books. It's at Latana. You can also DM her for bulk orders, and she would get a way to ship it down to you. If you're interested in supporting Amputees United, please send her a DM. She can also drop her account details here. I have been there before. You can't even believe what's going on in the lives of a lot of people. People who have gotten, like, they've gone through, like, just, if we say that Nigeria is not easy or Nigeria is
Mm.
tough, you cannot imagine what they are experiencing. So if we are saying Nigeria is tough, then what do you think they will be saying? If you are trying to get a job, what do you think they are trying to do? If you are trying to get married, what do you think they are trying to do? Like, if you're trying to balance your own life, what do you think is happening to them? So we're not responding to them from a position of pity. We're just being human, and that's what human beings do. They have compassion and they are empathetic, because the truth about it is none of them saw this, none of them foresaw it, none of them expected it. Adenike's life was very awesome, and it is still awesome. And then by age 20, you are hearing something about bone cancer. This has to happen, and there's an intervention and all of those things. So somebody from US is asking a question. I don't care what's the account number. Well, to ask question here, you will pay. Wait, what's the account
On
number?
the
We are paying for
foundation.
what we're here. Yes,
Okay, so
we are
it's a
paying for what.
UBA.
Raji, don't do anything else. We're in the US. So Raji, I know you. Raji will love because duro. Oh my God, answer. Oh, the madawo. Nisuru Raji. Please, what's the account number?
Okay, so it's a UBA account. Its name of account is Appeties United Initiative, and it is
Okay.
10
United Work.
Initiative.
Okay.
So it is
Initiative.
10
Mhm.
21
Okay.
75
Mhm.
50
Mm.
61.
Okay.
10 21 75 50 61.
Yeah, so I've dropped Adenike's account number, her foundation actually for Amputees United, called United Initiative. So Raji, we're going to respond to your question now. Drop an offering because if we do not hook you people here, that's how people hook you in church also. That's why they will say turn around 7 times, come and drop 500,000. The Lord is going to bless you. Tori, you will not drop in peace. We have to hypnotize and manipulate for this offering to drop. But soul sweeping power, good people. Adebola Salako, I know your account balance. Adebola Salako, I know your account balance. I'm watching you also.
She's my almost neighbor.
I know Adebola Salako, I've called you 3 times, and because you're a woman of God, you cannot be speaking in tongues prophesying and not romancing United Initiative. Adebola, I know your account number. You are not going anywhere. Internet is not cutting. There's light in your house. I know all the good things happening to you. Adebola. Adebola Salako. I know the car you drive and what drives you. Adebola Minister Jubele. Balkis Raji, to your question. How exactly Balkis English here abroad lower? How exactly? Oh, how has government been helpful to people with special needs? Balkis, hear the voice of God. Nigeria, all of Balkis. Focus now. What is going on? Avoid us. What is the meaning of how has government been helpful to people with special need? Balkis, this is like you're not seeing our results on Google. Dollar is almost 500 though. Even the government needs help. They are taxing all of us. I don't think we have not paid for that. If you smile too much on social media, they will tax you. Ask another question. This one, voicemail, Omalo.
Oh my God, my chest.
You provoked here, please. Ask another question. Voicemail, the question to be yellow. You are abroad, that's why. When you are abroad, there's a way you think. Whoa. We are in Nigeria. You believe God for Johnny Mercy's. You believe God for help. There's nothing you don't believe God for here. I don't know how people who say they don't believe God. I don't know how they do it.
Doing.
Travel out.
That's so true. That is
You don't have an option. You can be under Ojuelegba Bridge in Nigeria. There's a container above, and power will change hands.
You're so correct.
Balkis, don't let us be. This is a global. Soul Stripping Spa is a global self. Balkis, leave me. I'm giving you the answer. Any other coin? Any other question, please? UBA United Initiative 1021755061. We will check the names of people who have dropped tithe. Adebola Salako, you are the Minister of Finance at the Soul Stripping Spa. And we are. You can't run away. I can see all of you here. Kumi Vicky, you follow me on Facebook. Very pretty. UBA United Initiative. I don't need to pretend to see you in the spirit so that I will prophesy before your money will drop. If not, I'm at our level here. No. Next question. Okay, so it looks like we don't have any questions, but I have a final question for Adenike, which is in the next 6 months, what plans do you have and how can people support you?
As an individual, as somebody that is
individual or someone who has a foundation.
Okay, so I'll start with the foundation. It's very necessary for people to offer help with just showing love. And because COVID has come, we may not have physical gatherings. So if anyone reaches out to me to say, is there anyone you think I can just call and show love? It will be strange for them to receive such calls. But what I see that it does is, especially for people who would then desire that they would occasionally check in, not even about money now, it gives them a sense of being seen. And what that does for people who are fighting low self-esteem is it makes them come out a bit to get some air. So yes, the foundation, is barely just even starting, but I don't think that as much as money is needed, I've come to realizing that my goal was to create a safe haven, a place where people can come and just
mm,
connect and place. And when you see that we're having a physical gathering of some sort, it'll be great for you to desire to volunteer your time, your resource, whatever resource that it is that you have,
mm,
just come. We have had to buy, and we're very specific of not providing prosthetic limbs because it's a journey that we're not capable of furthering at the moment. And I think that it will make us lose track of why we're here. So you may also want to pay for a session for them to speak to ED, just to strip literally their souls and go inwards into who they are and helping them find their true identities. So yeah, that's necessary for the non-profit. For me as an individual, I will be, recording a show very soon,
mm,
and I'm hoping that for whatever it is worth, people can help, just put out the word. I've been struggling with going back on radio. I want to, but the terms have not been very good.
mm,
So, 6 months, I'm hoping that somebody can start up a radio station because even get the license. At the point, I wanted to conceptualize the idea, say, let's get the license, but it's a lot of money. So before we get the license for the radio ourselves, if you know of any amazing, amazing offering, and I mean it in every true sense of the word, I will not slave on anybody's radio station to be paid 120,000 naira. Those days
mm,
are long gone. I love to talk. So talk style, um, political style format. I have no business with entertainment or who has a new album. I'm not about that kind of life. Because I also believe that we need to talk about these things and let people get engaged in politics. So yeah, I think that on a personal level, that's what I want. Yeah, I don't your money. Just show me support as many materials that you see that I'll put out, as the days turn to weeks and then eventual months. So yeah.
mm. Fantastic. So Adenika has told us about her plan, number one, to get back on radio, but it must be a good deal. Please, not $200, $300 a month. Be very guided, so people pay millions to people. Yeah, you help people to prosper. Let them pray for you. So yes, an on-air personality, sports on radio, beautiful station, good money that can make people laugh. And then of course, her foundation, Amputees United, is there where she normally hosts other good people, share support. You quite truthfully, you can't understand what it is to live without a limb or something. I have a father who has been paralyzed for 36 years, and I cannot tell you how that feels. Even though I am not the person, even as a family member, I can tell you the level of pressure, the level of like whatever it is, you just have to try and be there for the person. So now imagine when these people are feeling alone, feeling lonely, and therapists cannot do it alone. On the average, I receive between 10 and 50 requests in all my handles, my inbox, people requesting. I cannot talk to them. Sometimes I don't even talk to them at all in one week. And it's not because I cannot, but because even the ones who have booked sessions with me, I need to talk to them. For example, this particular session, this show 7 to 8, is the eighth conversation I'm having today,
Mm.
number 8. So now imagine tomorrow I have 6. On Sunday I have 5. So now imagine by the time I'm done, I am totally spent. Now imagine what is going on back to back. So even if you genuinely want to help, it honestly cannot be, you can't even push out yourself too much. The only times I even offer is when it would be somebody in my corner who is looking for help, and then I can volunteer and say, oh, let me know when to step in, let me know if I need to step in, and all of that. But that also is a huge demand. So please, I know that all of us are trying to beyond survive also get some level of significance, but be rest assured 10, 20, 30, 50,000, 100, a million, whatever it is. This is what it is. This is what tithe means, that you are helping somebody else. You are putting a smile on somebody's face. You are paying for their school fees. Whatever it is, drop your
Mm.
tithe in church. You also have more than enough to share and to spend. So please be a part of Amputees United. Please follow Adenike on our handles, Adenike Oyetunde, and then please get a copy of her book, which is Adenike. I have tried my part and I'm still doing that. It is something she can say. So it's not that we are just raising offering, or it is something that I deliberately will say, oh, how you doing? I think you should do this. I think you should attend this one, in my own little way. And then I reach out, and all of that. So, like she said, support is key. And beyond the support, money is also key. Money pays house rent, not God bless you, not I'm rooting for you, not I believe in you, all of those things. Please, so thank you so much, Adenike. Thank you so much for being on the show. The conversation will continue. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Click the subscribe button. Next week, we'll be on Zoom. So please follow me by 9 p.m. I will drop the link so that you can register. It takes just 100 people. It is the first 100 to show up that will be hosted on Zoom next week. And it will be very hot. Thank you so much, Adenike. Have a wealthy weekend. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I hope this was beautiful. It was beautiful for me. I have been to Adenike's events. I've been at some of our events and they have been interesting. Next week we'll be on Zoom, like I said. Please watch out for the Zoom link by 9 p.m. on all my handles so that you can register. I will not disclose my guests to you next week, but we're going to take it a notch higher. It's also going to be free. So yes, but if you cannot attend, please don't subscribe. If you subscribe, please attend, and then remember to be a part of what Adenike is doing. It is extremely crucial. I've met people who had their limbs, taken, and the youngest I met, I think she was 15. I think maybe she had a bike accident or something. I can't remember the story. Like, I walked into the facility that day, they were about 17, and I was the only one that looked like I didn't have any part of, yes, and they were about 17. They were all less than 45. The youngest was about 15, 16. Like, I could not talk for the first 45 minutes. I just sat down there listening to their stories, listening to their pain, and you can't understand what it is. If you feel like Nigeria is tough, imagine what is going on with them. So please support what Adenike is doing. Thank you for hanging out with me. I will see you on Zoom next week, Friday. The replay will be on YouTube, but it would be kind to show up on Zoom. If you haven't subscribed here yet, you're good now. So please click the subscription button on the YouTube handle. Just click my subscription button, and then I'll see you next week, Friday. Adebola Salako. But I was just wondering what's going on. Thank you so much to everybody, Barkis, Debola, Kumi, Omolola, everybody. I can't see all your names, but thank you so much for showing up tonight. I will see you on Zoom next week, Friday.